Thank you so much for being here today.
Of course.
Awesome. So before we begin, there's a few things that I want to go over again. So last time we started off with confidentiality. Do you remember what it is?
I think it was like basically everything we talk about here stays with you. And then if I were to have like thoughts of harming myself or anybody else, I think then you tell people. I think there was something with the law, like being involved, but I couldn't tell you exactly.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So yeah, everything you and I talk about in here is going to be kept confidential. It's not going to leave the room. There are a couple instances where I will have to report what you say to me. So if you express to me that you have a plan to kill yourself, that's something I would have to report. If, for example, you and Cynthia get into a big fight and you have a plan to harm her in a life-threatening way or slash her tires or damaging her property or anyone's property in a scary or life-threatening way, that's also something I'll have to report. And then finally, if you're subpoenaed by the court, or if I'm subpoenaed by the court, I will have to report that. But other than that, you did pretty good with it. So I thought Cynthia was going to be joining us today.
You and me both.
Oh.
So she said she was going to try and get off work for it, but I guess it wasn't that important, so.
Okay. And also, I forgot to mention, I have my notepad here again, so I'm just going to be taking notes throughout the session, but if at any time you want to see them, just let me know, okay? So Cynthia, so she did say she was going to come today?
She said she was going to try.
Okay. What does she have going on today?
Work, maybe.
Oh, okay.
She said work, but who knows?
Oh, how have things been going since our last session?
I think about the same. She's been working, I've been working. Nothing's changed really, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, look who came.
Sorry, I have traffic.
Oh, hi Cynthia.
Hi.
All right, so I just went over confidentiality with Maggie, but since you're here, I'm gonna have to go over it with you too. So basically, confidentiality is where anything that we talk about is gonna be kept between us three. Yep, so everything that's said is between us. There's a couple instances where I will have to report what you say to me. So if you express to me that you have a life-threatening plan to kill yourself, I'll have to report that. If you express to me that you self-mutilate, that doesn't get reported. If you express, for example, I gave her the same example, if you express to me that you have a specific plan to damage Maggie's property in a life-threatening way, so like slashing tires or doing anything that's scary, I'll have to report that. And then also if you have a life-threatening or scary plan to harm Maggie or anyone else, I will have to report that too. And then the last one is, it's rare but it can occasionally happen, is where if I'm subpoenaed by the court, I'll have to give up that information.
Okay.
So, but other than that, you made a bit of a comment. Tell me a little more about that.
Just was surprised you came was all.
Surprised.
Well, you were late, so.
I told you I had traffic.
Interesting. Seems to happen a lot, doesn't it?
It's a big city.
Okay, I'm sensing a bit of tension. Maggie, what's on your mind?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I guess I'm just frustrated.
Why?
I just feel like I'm not a priority right now.
Okay, Cynthia, what do you have to say to that?
It's not that it's not that you're not a priority. It's just, you expect so much out of me, and you know, I have stuff going on. I had work today. I tried my best to get here on time. Like, I'm obviously trying.
So like expecting you to care about me and like spend time with me is asking a lot?
I do care about you.
Interesting.
I just wish that you could see that I was trying. You know?
What do you mean, see that you're trying? What do you mean by that?
Just like, there's only so much I can do, you know, given the circumstances, and so many places we can go without me risking, everything blowing up. So I don't know. I'm trying to be better, but I'm busy. I have a son, and I'm trying to spend more time with him, and I'm dealing with Dylan and his mom always bossing me around and trying to take control of Joseph, and you are a priority, but I don't always have the time.
Okay. Why don't we take a step back? I appreciate you giving her that validation that she is a priority. I think that's good that you said that. Maggie, is it okay if I kind of summarize our first session so she kind of has a little bit of a background?
Yeah.
Okay, so in our first session, Maggie and I talked about how she feels like at times you're embarrassed by her. Tell me a little bit, you're looking down like you're kind of upset. Tell me a little bit more about that.
It's not that I'm embarrassed by her, it's just like nobody knows that I'm gay.
Okay.
So, obviously you know now, and obviously,
Surprise.
but yeah, but no, I haven't told my parents. I grew up in a really Catholic household, and I just don't know how that would fly. I really don't. I'd like to think that, they're gonna love me for who I am, but I don't know. You hear stories of shit going wrong all the time with that stuff, and I don't want it to make our relationship blow up. And it's already on the rocks, it seems. So.
Mm-hmm. And I was just gonna ask about that. How do you think your relationship is going right now from your perspective?
I think that our relationship definitely could improve, but I just feel like it's always my fault, and it's always related to the fact that I haven't told people, and she's never pressured me, but I feel like it's my fault because of that, and then I think you think that you're not a priority because I haven't told people, but like that's just not it, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm. What do you have to say to that, Maggie?
I guess now I feel guilty. Because. Never mind.
No, what were you gonna say?
I guess I don't want her to think that it's her fault, because it's not. I know it's a hard process. I know it's difficult. But I think some of the difficulties can be attributed to the obstacles we have to take. And I know that those are obstacles that have to be in place right now, but I think it's fair for me to be hurt by some of them.
Yeah. I just want to say, Maggie, I think it's really great that you have the mindset that you both have to kind of take it slow. You have to take it much slower than she does, and I think it's great that you aren't pressuring her into feeling that way. So I think that's a huge strength for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I can't imagine how hard this transition must be for you, so I think it's very great that you're allowing Maggie to slowly but surely join the journey with you, which is great. What are some ways that you both can start to see progression?
Tough question.
I would like to hang out with you and your friends, even if it wasn't as like your girlfriend or something. I would like to meet some of them.
Oh, I just thought that if I would bring you and not introduce you as my girlfriend, that would be worse almost.
No,
I
would. Well, I know it's okay. I would rather be a part of it in some way rather than in no way, because in no way it just feels like you're hiding me.
Okay, I guess I hadn't thought about it that way. I guess I just thought it would be insulting to bring you and not introduce you as my girlfriend and just be like, this is my pal, this is Maddie, I don't know. But no, I can definitely do that. What was How our relationship can improve.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess for me, I haven't told anyone, and I know it's a huge obstacle, especially because you're my first girlfriend and my first real serious relationship. And I know that it's something that I need to do if I don't want to see it come to an end. I don't even know where to start. You know, I just feel really alone in the process, and I don't know if I should tell my parents first or my friends first, my dog first. You know, like I don't know. It's hard. I just feel really alone sometimes, and then
So you just mentioned that you said you feel alone. Is that including Maggie or not including Maggie?
No, it's just like I just feel like it wasn't as like hard for you because you know like your friends and family like all understood right away, and maybe I'm totally misjudging that, but part of me just at first felt like you wouldn't like understand the struggle, but that just makes me sound like an asshole. So mainly like other than Maggie, I feel alone because you know you do everything you can to be there and support me through it, but I think some of the loneliness could be internal too. Just you know, even though I'm not alone, I just feel alone, and maybe it's because I haven't taken the step to tell people or to even try.
Yeah.
I just kind of bottle those feelings up.
And I think it's great that you're choosing to talk about them right now with Maggie here. So I think you guys are both learning, you're learning stuff about each other and about the relationship, and you're also starting to see each other's perspectives as well. So I think that's also great.
Yeah, this is the first time I feel like we've had a civil conversation about it.
What do you mean by civil?
We're both, and not to put you in a box, but we're both kind of hotheads.
I can fit in the box.
When we argue, and we never really had like a mediator there, and I guess, yeah, makes me glad that I came.
Good. I'm glad I think we're both really glad that you're here.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of talking with Cynthia just to kind of catch her up. How are you feeling now that you've kind of seen a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff with Cynthia?
I guess I didn't realize she was feeling a lot of those.
That could be my fault. I don't really talk about it.
I guess I don't really ask either. So that could be it. But
I think a lot of it is I don't think either of you want to cross each other's boundaries. So I think by having you both here is very beneficial for your guys' relationship. I know you and I talked a lot about when Cynthia goes off with her son or she's always at work, you're always kind of, you feel alone too. Why don't you like tell Cynthia a little bit more about those feelings?
so I know it would be a big deal to introduce me to Joseph. I never want to push you into that situation because I know that's a lot of things. It's introducing me as a part of your life in whatever way that is, but it's also introducing me to a son who is a huge part of your life, and I'm never going to discount that. To me, it feels like it's like two separate worlds that you don't ever want to bring together, because it's like, oh, Joseph's coming over at 2, so I leave the house by 1 just to make sure they don't see me in passing or something, even though they have no idea why. But I don't know. So I guess that's frustrating to me. And so then during that time, it's like you don't want to text me, you don't want to call me or anything because you don't want him to catch on to anything, which, you know, I don't know if you would, and I know you don't want him to go tell his dad anything, which I get, but so sometimes it just feels like I'm in one corner there while you guys have the whole room.
I mean, I definitely can see how you would feel that way. I mean, I feel like if you had a son and I didn't know him, I want to know him. So I get that, but like, it's just Joseph, he has anger issues. I don't know if Maggie's told you anything about that, but my son sometimes will get angry and he gets in a lot of trouble at school. He just got suspended actually. And he says it wasn't his fault, but like I wasn't there, and I don't know like what him and his dad do when they're together, how his dad's behavior is influencing that. So it's more just like, I feel like if I throw another person in the mix, not that like you're not important or I don't see us going places, it's like I'm worried about what, like how that will affect my son, like, and it's hard because it's juggling like Maggie's feelings and my son's feelings, and then sometimes I feel like I have to choose, and I don't want it to be that way. And I've thought about introducing you as a friend, because that's how would he know the difference? He's 8, but I just feel like if I introduce him as a friend and then when I'm ready introduce him as a girlfriend, I don't know how he'll react to that. It worries me.
Sometimes I feel like with kids you have to be very honest and transparent with them, so I think you mentioned that you wanted to be introduced to her friends. I think warming her up as a friend could work just fine, but with kids I think it's just too confusing to bring her in as a friend and then reintroducing her as a girlfriend, because I don't think he's going to understand as well. So I think before you bring Joseph into the picture, I think you need to be comfortable with introducing her as your girlfriend first, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So how, I guess I just gotta figure out who I want to tell first and how I want to go about that and how I can feel comfortable going about that.
I don't need you to jump in the pool all at once. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't need to be like tomorrow suddenly the whole world knows and you're covered in rainbow stickers and flags and everything. Like, and all that. But like, I think as long as I know that you'll take one foot into the pool, I think that helps. Because I think that would help, because right now it's just a lot of it'll happen at some point, and I know what you're saying, I hear it, but it's like I don't, right now there hasn't been a whole lot of action behind the words, so that's what's hard for me. And I totally get the Joseph thing. I didn't really understand I didn't know what you were feeling about that, but I get it now. I know it would be hard for him, and I guess I don't have kids, so I didn't think about it that way.
Right. So I think down the road, you guys make it seem like one of the goals is for you to come out to your family and to be comfortable and to introduce each other as a couple. But I think, like Maggie said, that's face first diving into the pool, and I don't know if you guys are ready for that yet.
Yeah, diving's not my strong suit.
So I think to start, we need to maybe think of some steps to take to get to that point. So what do you think should be a focus right now? Like, what do you both want to see?
I think I want to tell one person. I don't know who yet, but I think if I can just tell one person that I trust and maybe like that I know will react well, just to like see that it's fine and it's, like I can tell people and it's not going to be the end of the world. Like, maybe I just need to see that in action. So I don't know, I think for me, I don't know, and like maybe having you there would help so I don't feel as alone in the process. So I think that could be something I could work on.
Yeah, I think it's great that you want to tell someone. That I think that shows Maggie that you really do care and that you really do want to try, which is great. Maggie, what do you want to see?
I mean, I think that's exactly what I want to see, is her taking baby steps forward, you know? It doesn't have to be tomorrow, the next day, a week from now, but I think knowing that you're thinking about it, knowing that it's something you want to do without outside pressure, and that makes me feel better about it.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little affirmation.
All right, so I think that's a little bit closer on the spectrum of fully diving in. So I want to go one more step back, even further. So like you mentioned that you guys don't spend a lot of time together. You know, she's got work and Joseph and stuff like that. So I guess how often do you guys spend time together?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, it varies week by week. Some weeks, Joseph will be with his dad like most of the week, and so, you know, it's not like I wish I wasn't spending more time with Joseph, but it's nice sometimes to be able to spend more time with you during those weeks. But most of the time, it's like one day a week.
Yeah, she works overnight, so, and I go to school, so our schedules kind of don't overlap a whole lot. So if we can get breakfast together or something like that, we try to, but it's usually not too
Doesn't
often.
always work, yeah.
So what are some ways you guys can maybe try to open up your schedules a little bit to spend a bit more alone time together?
I mean, I've tried switching shifts, but I really just can't afford to not work the overnights because there's a pay differential. Because you know, no one wants to be awake at 4 in the morning. But so I can't see myself moving work or my son. But I think that the pressure of, or not the pressure from anyone, but just my own internal pressure of coming out will sometimes like cause me to push you away. And so I feel like I chill alone by myself sometimes, and you could always be there, you know. I think spending more of my free time with you would be a good step for me.
And it also help with that communication side of things too, the affirmation that you want.
Yeah, definitely.
What can you do to clear your schedule a bit?
I think sometimes I use school as an excuse to not see you and stuff like that. So I think probably prioritizing you and then therefore schoolwork and making sure I get that done and stuff, so then I can go over, you can come over, things like that.
Good.
And it's not like we don't want to see each other.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's been so much tension lately that it's easier to not and be together than to always be together, because I almost feel like we might get into a fight that one of us could say something we don't mean, and then things could end badly, and if we're not seeing each other,
We can't fight. We fight more when we see each other, so I think right now it's hard for us to put that time first, because it's almost like we're putting fighting, like scheduling fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, I think it's kind of like a backhanded compliment, but in a way, I think it's good that you both know that if you don't spend time together, you're not gonna fight. So I think it's good to like know each other. You both said that you're hotheads, so I think it's good to know that you both kind of need your space. But now the fact that you guys are communicating and you're gonna continue to communicate and spend more time together as one of your goals is really gonna help with less fighting and more communication and the affirmation, and it'll help push you, not push you, but help progress with coming out and stuff as well.
I get what you meant by that. I guess, do you guys have any more sessions scheduled?
Well, I guess, I mean, what would you like to do? What would you like to see?
I mean, I think it's been helpful this far. I mean, we met last week, work at the same time, so I think probably continuing the schedule would be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So
Would you want that to include Cynthia, or what are your thoughts? What are both of your thoughts on?
Well, that's why I brought it up, because I was gonna ask if maybe, and you know, I don't wanna step on your toes, cause I know this, you set this up and this is your thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling pretty good about where it's going.
Yeah.
And I think it's been helpful, and, you know, like I want to tell someone now, like, I want this to improve our relationship, as scary as it is, so if I can come to the next one.
What if you and I plan weekly sessions still, and then, if you guys feel the need to come together, you can, or we can also set up weekly meetings for both of you as well.
that sounds good.
Maggie, you were my client first, so what are your,
Yeah, that sounds good.
do you want to continue
Yeah.
to do? Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to schedule them for the same day, or do you think that'll be too much, and so we should schedule them throughout the week?
Like one for me, one for us, or what are you thinking? Let's do one earlier in the week for me,
Okay.
and then one, if that's okay with you, and then one at a time that works for you.
And I always get off at this time on Fridays, so
Okay.
We can push it back about an hour, so that way you can be here
on
on time, yeah?
Yeah, sorry for being late.
No, I think now it's understandable after you guys talked everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to kind of go over one more time, so our goals right now are to, well, I guess both of you are gonna continue to come back, which is, I think that's great. So that right there is a goal that'll help with the relationship as well. Spending more time together is another big one. I think that will help, and then eventually you're gonna be ready to nosedive. You guys are gonna
Scuba cap on.
All right, so Maggie, let's plan for Tuesday again at 4.
Okay.
And then, does the day of the week matter for either of you for later? Like
Friday?
Yeah,
Friday.
Friday's usually more if that
Yeah,
works.
yeah, that works for me.
all right, we'll do Friday at 5.
Perfect.
Yes. 5.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys both so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you again.
Thank
Yeah.
you.